Hello everybody, welcome back to the Air Raid Saturdays College Football YouTube channel. I'm your host Justin Perez, and we're back at it again with another ranking video of the top 10 games of the upcoming week during the college football season. So, we went through week 0, and there was a lot of interesting things that happened in week 0. A lot of funny shit happened in week 0. USC giving up like 4 touchdowns to San Jose State, especially 3 in the first half. I think that was terrible. And Florida International almost won a game against Louisiana Tech when they only had 4 passing yards. It was terrible. That was bad. And then New Mexico State, who I picked to win against. Last week's game against New Mexico State and UMass was supposed to be the game that New Mexico State had to win if they wanted to get back to another bowl game. And even though they have 12 more games to play, because remember they have that extra 13th game, they needed to win that game against UMass, and they just literally shat on themselves. And excuse me, but that's really the only way to put it. They literally just disappointed everybody, including myself. UMass had no business winning that game, and the fact that they won that game just shows you that last year could be a flash in the pan for New Mexico State, and that is extremely disappointing and frustrating, especially like me, for somebody who roots for their football program. But we had a very eventful opening weekend last Saturday for the college football season. Now we're moving on to week 1. Unlike last week where there was only 7 games, this week now we have a full-fledged slate of games going around across the country. So I'll be able to pick and choose 10 games from this week's slate, and I'll be able to rank them. So, quick disclaimer here, because I've already gotten some negative. I mean, not that I really care, because I really don't. I'm not telling anybody to kiss my ass on this channel. I know there's gonna be some people that are gonna disagree with my opinions or disagree with something, and that's fine. But I've already had some comments of people questioning my college football fandom or my intelligence or whatever, or something to that effect. Even though they never really said it outright, you could just tell by reading some of those comments that they're just ridiculous. Some of them, I think only 3 of them have been like really negative. The rest of them have been positive. So for those of you who are watching and just subscribe, because I get notifications on who subscribe, I want to thank you all for starting this journey with me. And I want to thank you all for tuning in, and also to just understanding and respecting my opinions and replying to them in a professional manner. It really means a lot. I've gotten a lot of more positive feedback from these videos than negative. I've gotten like 1 trillion positive comments and only like 3 negative comments. So for those who reached out, and for those who are encouraging me to do so, thank you very much. I see it, I recognize it, and I want to thank you guys for taking the time to reach out to me and give me positive feedback. There's nothing more motivating for me than to see positive comments. I mean, there's been days where I didn't want to edit a video, but after watching, or after seeing positive comments, just motivates me and it lifts me up. So I want to thank you guys for being kind and being nice and being professional. At least most of you being kind and professional in my comment section. I want to thank you all for tuning in, and let's do this, man. So now I have a top 10 list now, like I said, of the top 10 games. These are all games that are picked personally by me. These are games that I'm excited for me personally. So if there's a game that you're thinking of right now that does not appear on this list, don't go in my comments and go keyboard warrior mode and just type that I'm a retard or something, because to be honest, I don't want to deal with that shit. I mean, I don't care. I really don't care, but I don't want that stuff being present on my comments for everybody to see. So let's just get right into it, man. So before I start the countdown, I'm gonna give up some honorable mentions to games that I considered on this list but ultimately didn't make it. I'll go through them really quickly. So the honorable mentions include North Carolina State at UConn. I think that game's going to be really exciting and really fun. And UConn might pose a challenge. I actually had a comment under my independence predictions video, and somebody mentioned, and shout out to you, by the way, I forgot your name, I'll go look it up later, but because that was weeks ago. He basically gave to me that he could see UConn finishing with 10 wins, and I really agree with that. And he says that UConn's going to beat North Carolina State, and I totally agree with that. Personally, I don't think it's going to happen, but I definitely see a possibility in where that could happen. That game's gonna be, that game could be a surprise and a dogfight for North Carolina State, because I don't think they're fully respecting or accepting UConn's improvement from last season. So that game didn't make the list, but I gave it an honorable mention. I also was thinking about putting Miami of Ohio at Miami of Florida on the list, because I think that game's gonna be really close, and I think the quarterback for Miami of Ohio, Brett Gabbert, basically had a press conference, and he was like saying, we're gonna find out who the real Miami University is on September 1st. So he was already talking a little smack, which I fucking hate. And excuse my language, but that's really the only way to put it. I absolutely hate when players from different teams talk smack before the game. I think it's ridiculously petty and childish, but it is what it is. So that game was in consideration. I also have Louisville at Georgia Tech. I just don't think that game's going to be as close as what people are saying. Georgia Tech is, everybody's saying that game's going to be close, but Georgia Tech is, they're not going to be a good team. So I was thinking about that, but I didn't put it on there. I also did not put Bowling Green at Liberty. I also passed on Northern Illinois at Boston College. I think that game could see Boston College put on the upset list. I also put Toledo and Illinois. I was debating on to put that on that list, but I decided not to. I also was thinking about Northwestern at Rutgers, and then I was also thinking of the Monday night game between Clemson and Duke in North Carolina, which is where Duke plays. I was thinking about all those games, but they didn't make the list for because obviously some of these games could be blowouts. They're intriguing when you look at them on paper, but I think when they're actually played, a lot of these games could be blowouts, or they could be kind of boring, or they're not going to be able to catch the attention of the fans around the country like these 10 games that I put on the list. So those are my honorable mentions, and without further ado, let's head into number 10. Alright, coming in at number 10 is the game between Nebraska and Minnesota. This game will be played on Thursday, or this Thursday. This game will be played this Thursday on August 31st at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The game will be broadcasted on Channel 5 or Fox. Obviously, this game is going to be played in Minnesota in Huntington Bank Stadium, and the betting line is that Minnesota is favored by 7 points. As you can see, usually I put pictures of players who I think are like the two important players to watch, or two of the most important players to watch. So obviously for me, I'm going to be looking at quarterback Jeff Sims, who's a transfer from Georgia Tech. I watched a little bit of film on him, and he's going to really improve this Nebraska offense that really struggled last season. Obviously the ground game is going to work, and Jeff Sims is going to be able to add a little bit to the ground game, because he's an all-around talent. Like, he could throw the ball, he has a good arm. He doesn't have the best arm, but he has a good arm. He could deliver some nice passes, and he has the ability to take off and run when faced with a tremendous pass rush. So interesting to see how he's gonna play in his first game as a Cornhusker with under new head coach Matt Rule. And then for Minnesota, I'm gonna be taking a look at wide receiver Chris Autman-Bell, who sustained an injury last season and didn't finish the season, but he's gonna he's poised to come back strong and be probably the main target in Minnesota's passing game. Now if you're asking me, the reason why this game ranks dead last at number 10 is because I'm not that much of a fan of these types of games. Nebraska hasn't been good in so long. I can't even remember I've only been alive for 21 years, so I can't even remember the last time that Nebraska was relatively great or relatively good. They've been mediocre for the most part ever since I started watching college football. In my time, obviously I'm sure there's a lot of old heads, which shout out to you old heads that tune into my channel. I appreciate you guys, but I'm sure there's a lot of old heads that remember, Nebraska being really, really good in the 90s, with Tommy Frazier and, Lawrence Phillips and all those guys. But, it's just been bad. It's just been bad here in the 21st century so far. And, Nebraska's hoping that Matt Rule is gonna, return back the tradition and the pageantry and the winning sustained success again. And, I hope for Nebraska fans that ends up happening, because, I kind of like the Cornhuskers. I've never had any bad feelings toward them. And, I would like to see them become a a contender in the Big Ten, which they haven't really done since they joined the Big Ten. I would love to see them be a contender. I think they had one year where they made the conference title game. I think there was a year that I had to double check. I think there was a year that they made the Big Ten title game, but other than that, it's just been complete mediocrity. So, this Nebraska offense might be fun to watch over the course of the season. We will see how they do with Jeff Sims at the helm. Obviously, the defense needs to improve as well. The secondary. It's not necessarily the secondary. Nebraska needs to be able to get in the backfield more. And this is going to be a challenge for them as they're taking on a really good Minnesota team. I expect this game to be close. I expect this game to be down to the wire. I don't expect Nebraska to just get pummeled by Minnesota, because I've scoured around the internet and I've seen some people already predict a blowout for Nebraska, or a blowout win for Minnesota, and that's just not going to happen. I'd be stunned if Nebraska doesn't get off the bus for this game. But the reason why this is at number 10 is because I have doubts as to whether Nebraska is going to be competitive. Like I said, I see this game being close, but in the back of my mind, there's a part of me that says, Nebraska could just falter in this game. I don't know what it is, but I don't trust them. I really don't trust Nebraska as a team that's going to be able to win these types of games yet, because they haven't been able to do so in many years. And Minnesota, they have a really good offense. Obviously their defense has some question marks, but expect this to be a tight game. I'm hoping it'll be a tight game. Expect this to be one that goes down to the wire. I got Minnesota in this one. I got Minnesota winning this game. But the main reason why this game ranks 10th is because there is another game that's played on Thursday night that's way more exciting and that's way more intriguing to watch than this game. And we're going to get to that in a while here. If you've seen the schedule, you probably already know what game I'm hinting at. But if you don't, just sit back, relax. I'm going to get to that game when we do. We still got a long way to go, but when I get to that game, I will mention that, and I will go back to this again. But yeah, I have Nebraska and Minnesota at number 10. I think this will be a good game. But I'm, personally for me, I'm not that excited to watch it. And also, one of the reasons, my criteria for ranking these games is that I pick these games and then I rank them based on how excited I am to watch these games. So, me, I'm not going to be that excited to watch Nebraska at Minnesota, although I expect it to be a very good game. So Nebraska at Minnesota ranks number 10 on my list for this week. Alright, coming in at number 9 is the game between the Boise State Broncos going on the road to face the number 10 ranked Washington Huskies. Washington is led by quarterback Michael Penix Jr., who's one of my favorite college football quarterbacks that I've seen in my lifetime. He is just dynamite. I love watching him play. I saw him play at Indiana, man, and he was just a beast at Indiana, and he's been pretty decent as Washington's quarterback. Obviously, I didn't watch a lot of Washington last year. I try to watch as many teams as I can. I didn't watch a lot of Washington football. I keep speaking too fast and I stutter a little bit, so I apologize. I haven't watched too much Washington football. There we go. Last year, but I know that he had a pretty decent year, and a pretty good year as a matter of fact. And Washington ranked number 10th. Obviously, they have some high expectations, but then you got, they have a really tough game to start their season as they're playing the Boise State Broncos. Now, as you can see on the bottom of this screen here, the betting line is that Washington is favored by 14.5 points. So basically, they're favored to win by 15 points. And I don't know who decided to come up with that betting point spread, but I'm sorry, whoever decided to come up with that point spread, they need to lose their job. I don't think at all that Washington is going to win by a wide margin. They could cover the spread, but barely. And when I mean barely, I mean barely, because Boise State's been one of those teams. Yes, they play in a smaller conference, but they're a really respectable football program. Obviously, there are tons of people who know that Boise State is a team not to fuck around with, because they've been a great program, and they're going to be a good team this year. And I think that this is the year that they finally put it all together and win the Mountain West Conference. As you can see, their best football player is running back George Halani, who rushed for 1,100 yards, I believe, last season. He's a good running back. This game is going to be played at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC, and obviously the game will be taking place on Alaska Airlines Field at Husky Stadium. This is probably one of the more underrated games in the week 1 schedule. And to be honest with you, this is the game that I probably will be watching for the 3:30 start time games, because obviously, you know, you have your 12 o'clock games, you have your 3:30 games, then you have 7 o'clock, and then you have 10:30. And when I'm looking at the schedule, I don't see another 3:30 game that's as exciting or that's as intriguing as this one. You know, this game has really a potential to be a really good game, man. Like, but I think there's other games that I'm more intrigued to watch and that are to me more exciting than this game. But expect this game to be close. If Boise State wants to win this game, they're gonna have to establish their running game. You know, the running game, of course, they have a decent passing attack, but we don't know how good it's gonna be because of the fact that Hank Bachmeier's not there anymore and their new quarterback. You know, we don't know what's gonna happen with the passing game. It should be good. I expect it to be fine. But expect, at least in this game early on, to where Boise State's gonna be primarily running the ball. You know, I would not be shocked if they run the ball 30-40 times in this game. You know, and you know, I think it's a smart strategy. I think it's a smart strategy I think it's a smart strategy for Boise State to run the ball a lot. You know, if they're gonna try to pull this upset off, they're gonna try to do it, you know, with their defense being on the field most of the game, and you know, they're gonna try to control the clock, control the tempo, you know, move the chains slowly, you know, and try to keep that Washington offense off the field, because that Washington offense can score some points, man. So you know, expect Boise State to put a heavy emphasis on their running game, and expect Washington, when they're on the, you know, when they have the ball, to, you know, be a little bit more creative and sling it around a little bit. Obviously, Michael Penix can run too. He's a dual threat quarterback, so, you know, Washington's gonna, you know, present a lot of problems for that Boise State defense. But if Boise State wants to have a chance to make an upset, they're gonna have to just control the clock, control the tempo, run the ball, give it to, you know, your running backs 30-40 times during the game. And, you know, let's see what happens. So this game ranks at number 9 on my list. You know, it is an intriguing matchup for sure, but it's not a game that I'm, like, clamoring to watch. I will watch it, but it's not a game that I'm, like, losing my mind over and saying, I have to watch this. This is must-see TV. It's nothing like that. So that's why this game ranks number 9 on my list. Alright, coming in at number 8 is probably a bit of a surprise for some of you, but there's a reason why I put this game on this list, and that's Fresno State at Purdue. This game will be played on Saturday, you know, on regular Saturday. All these games will be played on Saturday, unless if I put the date. If you see a date like with the Nebraska-Minnesota game, that's because it's being played on a Thursday, a Friday, or a Sunday, or even a Monday. I'm just trying to create suspense here for the list. But yes, this game, this is a really intriguing game, and to be honest with you, if I was not a Ball State fan, I would tune on to this game. Obviously, my Ball State Cardinals are playing Kentucky this week. And since I'm a loyal fan, I'm going to watch them get destroyed in front of 75,000 people, or however big Kentucky Stadium is. And that's going to be embarrassing. But I'm a loyal man. I'm going to watch my team play. But if I wasn't loyal, this game would be at the top of my list for sure. You know, for games to watch at the 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern time slot. This game will be played on the Big Ten Network, so if you have the Big Ten Network, you can definitely tune into this game. I know I have the Big Ten Network myself, but obviously Ball State's going to be playing against Kentucky, like I said, so I'll definitely keep an eye out on this game. And it's going to be played in West Lafayette, Indiana, in Ross Sage Stadium. Purdue is favored by 3.5 points, and that just shows you that this game could be an upset for Fresno State. I mean, obviously, people who only follow the Power 5 conferences, which is a damn shame. If you only I'm just saying, if you only follow the Power 5 conferences, it is a damn shame, man, because you're missing out on a lot of good football with the Group of 5 conferences for sure. But I know that there's going to be people that might be questioning, why are you putting this game on this list? Purdue's going to win. Well, you know, yeah, Purdue might win, but you also got to, you know, people also forget, because I've already seen on the internet, people are forgetting that Purdue's in a rebuilding stage. They're rebuilding their program. Yes, they made the Big Ten title game last year. Yes, they got shellacked in their bowl game last year. I believe it was the LSU in the Citrus Bowl. I gotta double check. I think I am right, but yeah, they got destroyed in the postseason in both the conference title game and in their bowl game. But you know, they're rebuilding now. It is what it is. You know, they're not gonna be that 8-4 team or whatever the record was from a year ago. They're probably gonna be a little bit worse than that. And you know, Fresno State, man, wow. I mean, Fresno State. Yes, Fresno State. I read. Now, keep in mind, before I did my predictions, I actually read previews on the internet for each team. I looked at collegefootballnews.com. I went on Athlon Sports. I looked at multiple different, previews, and I did my research. And although Fresno State loses a lot of their key skill position players from the year before, like Jake Hayner and Jordan Mims, the running back, they're still a good team. Yes, they're gonna have turnover on both sides of the ball, but they're still talented enough to where they could be in a position to where they can challenge Air Force and Boise State for another Mountain West title. Obviously won the Mountain West title last year. So this team is good. This team is really, really good. And I would not be surprised if I saw the final score favoring Fresno State at all. People might be surprised, not me, because I know for a fact that Fresno State's going to be extremely competitive. They're going to go out there and they're going to try to prove to people that they deserve, the recognition that they have gotten. They deserve the praise that they've gotten as a program. This is their moment. And a couple years ago they beat UCLA in the Rose Bowl too. So it's not like this team is incapable. It's not like this program is incapable of being able to not compete against the big schools. So this game is definitely intriguing. I would rank this game a little bit higher on my list if it wasn't for the next 7 games that we're going to talk about, because believe me, this game is really intriguing. It really has my attention. It's really gonna it's really gonna be a priority for me to take a look at what's happening in that game as it goes on this upcoming Saturday. So let's see what happens. But I got Fresno State in this one. There was a Fresno State fan that commented on my channel. Listen, man, if you're I forgot his name, but he had the sick Fresno State Bulldog logo. If you're watching this, man, I'm rooting for you guys big time. Go Dogs. I hope you guys win. This is a game that they could win. So very intriguing. This game could be really close. I expect it to be close, and I ultimately expect Fresno State to pull off the upset, in my humble, honest opinion. Even though in my prediction video I said they will lose the game, I really want them to win. So I'm going for Fresno State all the way. Let's go Bulldogs. And I'll be watching this one. I'll be watching this one closely. This game ranks number 8 on my list. Alright, coming in at number 7 is the annual Dukes Mayo Classic game, and this is going to be played between the two Carolinas, or I know NC State fans are gonna have a problem with that, but but I don't know what else to call it. The game between the two Carolinas, the two Carolinas without state in their name. You have North Carolina, who's ranked 21st in the country, against South Carolina, who's unranked but getting some votes in the top 25. I made a video on that if you want to check that out. I'll put the card in the upper right hand corner right now for this game specifically. South Carolina is a good team. They're not an amazing team, but they're definitely a pretty damn good team for sure. This game will be played at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on ABC on Saturday night. This game is considered a neutral site game because it's being played in Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. But since North Carolina is in this game, this is going to be more of a home game for them. I'm sure South Carolina fans will make the trip too, but I guarantee you that there will be way more North Carolina fans in the stadium than South Carolina fans. North Carolina, they're favored by 2.5 points. That just shows you that this game is going to be extremely close, and I expect it to be that way. I expect the game to end like in a 27 or 24 score or some shit like that. It's going to end really, really close. It's going to be a dogfight, man. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. This game really, really should be higher on my list. But like I said, if it wasn't for other games, it would be higher on my list. But the several games after this one that I'll talk about, I think are way more exciting than this one. I'm still gonna be watching this game. This game is still gonna be important for me to watch, and I'll be taking a look at it. So North Carolina is the ranked team. Obviously, South Carolina is the team that's ranked outside the top 25 poll. They're not, but they're getting votes, like I said. Um, I don't know what to expect. It's one of those games where you don't know who's gonna win. Like, you know, you're gonna have people that are gonna say, "Oh, this team's gonna win. This team's gonna win," but you don't really know until the game is finished. It's gonna be one of those 50-50 games. I would not be shocked if South Carolina pulls off this quote-unquote upset against North Carolina. You know, and honestly, you know, I think South Carolina could win this game. You know, I like North Carolina a lot. I like them a lot. You know, and obviously, you know, they have Drake May still at quarterback, and you know that offense is just lethal at this point. I mean, they're a really good offense. But South Carolina's offense is not too shabby either. You know, they have their a good quarterback of their own, and Spencer Spencer Rattler, right? And you know, it's gonna be one of those games. It's not gonna be super high scoring, but it's gonna be one of those games where one team has the lead and another one gets the lead back, and then it alternates back and forth, and it's gonna be one of those games. So you know, expect this game to be extremely close. Don't think anybody's gonna say blowout, because you know, if anybody says blowout, then I don't know what's wrong with them. This game is definitely a must-watch game, especially if you want to watch something on national TV that's not on ESPN. You know, only on, you know, if it's one of on these bigger channels. Where there you go. This game is gonna be tight. It's gonna be a dogfight, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun watching this one. So this game definitely is gonna be ranked 7th on my list, and we'll move on to number 6. Alright, coming in at number 6 is the game between UTSA and Houston. UTSA is going on the road this time. Last season, these two teams played, I believe, in the opening week of the season as well, and Houston went into UTSA Stadium, and you know, whatever it's called. I forgot the name of their stadium, but you know, they went into the Roadrunners Stadium and they beat them pretty, you know, not in a decisive way. That game was really, really close. That went down to the wire, but they beat them pretty good. Now it's UTSA playing at Houston Stadium to open up the 2023 campaign. Obviously, Houston made the jump from the American Athletic to the Big 12, as did BYU, UCF, and Cincinnati. So this is Houston's first game as a Big 12 conference opponent. And I'm sure that crowd in T-Decu Stadium. I know people say TDECU Stadium, but I just say T-Decu Stadium because it's just more, it's shorter. So you know, T-Decu Stadium is a site. This game will be played at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on Fox Sports 1. UTSA is favored by 1.5 points, and if I'm being honest, man, I got UTSA winning this game. I feel like Houston beat UTSA on the road last season, and I think it's gonna be vice versa this year again. I could be wrong, but we'll see. And also, by the way, I forgot to mention that these betting line that these point spreads I got as of, what's today? Today's the 29th. Yeah, I got them as of yesterday. So these point spreads can be subject to change over the course of the week. You guys can keep up with that on your own time, but for now, UTSA is favored by 1.5 points, and this game is going to have a lot of interesting playmakers on offense. Obviously, UTSA's quarterback Frank Harris is a superstar over there for the Roadrunners, and you know, the Roadrunners had a phenomenal season last year, really, really great season. And you know, Houston has a lot of their own playmakers on offense too, including Matthew Golden, who's a sophomore wide receiver, I believe. I think he's a sophomore. I think this game could be one of those shootouts. You know, I think Houston's defense obviously needs to improve from last season, and UTSA has a decent defense as well, a pretty good defense. But this game might be an absolute shootout. I mean, it might be one team scores and the next team scores, and then just like that. You know, it's going to be crazy. You know, me personally, this is a game that I would watch. I gotta see if I can watch it for sure. I gotta see what's going on during the rest of this time slot. But keep on the lookout for this game, man. This game, and you know, it's not just me saying this. There's a bunch of other people that have their eyes on this game. I don't think it's gonna be as good as what people are saying, but it has the potential to be that good. You know, people, I think they're kind of overreacting a little bit to this game. But but that's just my humble, honest opinion. But Jesus Christ, I'm stretching here, by the way. Never. I had a really long sleep tonight. I had a really long sleep last night. Really deep sleep, and I'm still stretching over it. I'm still getting, my body's still getting ready. But anyway, uh, this game, it's gonna be one of those games, man. It's gonna be one of those, it could be one of those games where both teams score number amount of times, and it's gonna be one of those games, where, you know, you know, both offenses strike, but this game could also be a defensive struggle. It depends on what's going on. Now, me personally, I don't know enough of these two teams to do an in-depth analysis. Obviously, I watched a little bit of these two teams last season, but there's still some question marks heading into both of these seasons. People are, debating on whether UTSA, are they going to be able to, be as successful in the American Athletic Conference, which I think they will. And then you have people saying the same thing about Houston, who made the jump to the Big 12. So this is like a telling game. I think this game is going to tell us where these two teams are going this season. If both teams play well, then we all know they're going to be really competitive for the rest of the season. If one team plays like crap, then oof, boy, that's not a good way to start, buddy. Yeah, I think this is a telling game. I think this will tell the country where both of these teams stand heading into the season. So yeah, this game's going to be really exciting, and that's why I rank it at number 6. Alright, coming in at number 5 is Coastal Carolina going on the road at UCLA. This game, I think, is really being overlooked by a lot of people. Obviously, people are going to say, oh, UCLA, they're going to win this game easily. But I don't think so, man. Coastal Carolina, although they have a new head coach, Jamie Chadwell left to go to Liberty, I believe. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember. But anyway, even though they have a new head coach, they still have a lot of their playmakers from the year before, including quarterback Grayson McCall, who's one of the more underrated quarterbacks at the FBS level. And both of these offenses, they're gonna put some points on the board. And then for my UCLA player to watch, I got Carson Steele, running back, who I am extremely familiar with because he played at Ball State during the previous 2 years, and obviously I'm a Ball State fan, so I watch this guy every week. Listen, for UCLA fans who don't know too much about this guy yet, you guys got a freaking gem with Carson Steele. I mean, this guy, he is not super big. He doesn't look intimidating, but when this guy, he's like a shorter version and a smaller version of Earl Campbell to me. Like, he could just bulldoze through guys continuously. I've seen it over and over and over again where it takes about like 4 or 5 guys to bring him down. This guy literally, if you look up the word rhinoceros in the dictionary, if you look up rhinoceros online, you're gonna get a picture of this guy. It'll probably be one of the first pictures you'll see on Google Images, because I'm telling you, this guy is a pure rhinoceros with the football. He is an absolute beast, and for a guy of his size, he has a lot of athleticism. He even hurdled over a guy. He literally hurdled over a guy. He jumped over a guy, I believe, against UConn last year when Ball State played UConn. That was sick. This guy is strong. He's tough. And if you can't tell by my voice, I am a huge fan of this guy. He's probably my favorite player in all of college football. And I am definitely going to watch this game. Listen, I know he left my Ball State Cardinals. I know he left us, but I'm still gonna be loyal to this guy. I'm probably his biggest fan. I'm probably the biggest fan he has in the world. I absolutely love Carson Steele, man. He's sick, absolute sick, and he's very underrated, very underrated. Now, this game will kick off at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN, so it's a really late night game as expected because it's on the West Coast. The game will be played in the Rose Bowl, which is personally my favorite stadium in college football, so that's kind of cool. A lot of history and a lot of aura. There's an aura there, and they have a lot of history. So, I love the Rose Bowl. And the UCLA. Here's the thing. UCLA is favored by 14.5 points. I don't think UCLA is going to win by 2 touchdowns. I really think, again, it's possible, but I really think this game's going to come down to like the last 5 minutes, the last 3 minutes of the game. Where Coastal Carolina is trailing, and they're going to try to get in position to tie it or win the game, depending on what the score is. This game is going to be really close. I expect this game to be close from the start to the beginning. Wow. Wow, that just shows you what's going on right now. I'm still not into this. I'm like trying to record this. My brain is just gone. From I meant to say this game's gonna be close from start to finish. Um, you know, I don't know what I can say about this game that has been said by people. I mean, again, Coastal Carolina is one of those teams from the Group of 5 conferences that will be in position to possibly become the Group of 5 champion and play in a Year 6 bowl game. Whether that comes into fruition remains to be seen, but this game's going to be close, man. It's going to be exciting, and if you guys are going to stay up late to watch this game, if you guys are going to stay up late on Saturday night, you got to watch this game. This game will be a great game. I'm telling you, I know what I'm saying. And if it isn't, and if it's a blowout for either of the two teams, then you could just slap me in the face for saying what I'm saying. But for right now, I really believe that this game, it's gonna be gonna be really close. And you know, expect this game to go right down to the wire. I am so excited for this game personally, but I'm not excited enough to where it should be ranked higher on this list. It's in the top 5, but it's not higher, and that's because we have number 4 on this list. So let's transition over. Alright, coming in at number 4 is the game between unranked South Alabama, who's getting a couple votes in the AP Top 25, against the team that captured everybody's imagination last season, and that's the 24th ranked Tulane Green Wave. This is the first time that Tulane was ranked to start a season, so I want to give a congratulation to Tulane for reaching that plateau. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do this season. But man, this game right here, this is a tough way for Tulane to start the season. South Alabama is one of those teams that people aren't talking about enough because they play in the Sun Belt Conference. But my goodness, this game is going to be like watching two heavyweight fighters get into the boxing ring and they're just going to duke it out. Man, this game's gonna be so exciting. I don't even know. I mean, what else do I need to say? I mean, you got Tulane, who beat USC in the Cotton Bowl last year, and that returns a lot of their players, including Michael Pratt at quarterback, versus a team that can contend for the Group of 5 championship this season, and that's South Alabama. South Alabama, they're one of the best teams in the Sun Belt Conference. They're gonna be up there. They could make it to the Sun Belt title game this year. They could be ranked if they get off to a really hot start. If they get off to a really hot start, they could be ranked by the middle of the season. And obviously Tulane is Tulane. I mean, I don't gotta talk much about them. We already know how great Tulane was last year. But you know, South Alabama is gonna pose a challenge for Tulane, man. They really are. You know, they're gonna pose a really big challenge for Tulane. This game will be played at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on ESPNU in Human Stadium, where Tulane plays, and Tulane is favored by a touchdown, 6.5 points, which I think it's right. I think that point spread is right. I think this game's gonna be a touchdown game, and that goes either way. I don't, you know, it could be closer than that, but I think it's gonna be decided by a touchdown. I mean, wow. I mean, this game is so underrated. I don't know why people are not talking about this game more. This game deserves way much more respect and attention from everybody across the country. I really enjoy, I really love watching, you know, when there's a game between two smaller schools that are in contention for, you know, for some national notoriety. Obviously, Tulane got that last season. Can South Alabama be the ones that does it this year? It remains to be seen, but man, this game is going to be another tight one. All these games are going to be tight, by the way. I doubt all these games are going to be blowouts, so excuse me if I keep being repetitive by saying this game is going to be tight, that game's going to be tight. But when I mean it, it's going to be tight, you know, and, you know, honestly, this game is definitely overlooked by a lot of people. I think it's going to be a great game, and I'm going to be looking forward to it. I don't think I'm going to be able to watch the game, but we'll see how it unfolds. I expect you know, for there to be a packed house at Tulane for this game. Hopefully we got a lot of crowd noise going in this game. This game's going to be sick, man. I'm absolutely excited and stoked for this one, and this will be one of my games that I'm really going to be paying attention to. So if you guys are available, please take a look at this game, even if it's just for like the second half. you gotta watch this game. This game's gonna be great. It's gonna be an underrated game. And it's gonna determine the group of 5 race this year as to who can make it out. It's gonna play huge dividends for that. So yeah, this game ranks number 4 on my list. And yeah, let's move on to number 3, because I'm getting pretty lengthy in time here. So let's move on. Alright, coming in at number 3 is a game that I kind of feel that I'm overrating a bit, but I can't help myself, man. We got Colorado at number 17, TCU ranking at number 3 here in my list. What do I need to say that hasn't been said about this game already? Like, seriously, what fucking more do you need to know? Like, seriously, like, what do you guys need to know about this game? Like, this game right here, alright? This is probably the most hyped up, well, I don't know if it's the most hyped up game, but it's right up there, because obviously TCU, they're coming off of that amazing run last season, that just Cinderella phenomenal story where they made it to the national championship game. And then you have a Colorado team that has been really, really bad for a long time, but in steps brand new head coach Deion Primetime Sanders. Coach Prime gonna make his debut as Colorado head coach. First of all, I gotta get this out of the way. I'm a huge fan of Deion Sanders. Like, I love his swag, I love his attitude, I love his mindset on life. I'm a huge fan of him. I'm a huge fan of him. So to see him have a lot of success at Jackson State and revitalize that program, and then go to the FBS level and try to resurrect a program that has been terrible for years. It's going to be really interesting to see what he does at Boulder. Words cannot describe how excited I am for this program's future. A lot of people are saying that Deion Sanders might only stay a couple of years at Colorado. It remains to be seen what he might do. But this I'm just stoked right now, man. I'm just stoked. I mean, I can't listen. When I get on this mic and when I do these commentaries, I try to be as professional as I possibly can. But there's a part of me that I just can't resist the fan in me, and obviously I'm a huge fan of Deion Sanders, and I really hope that he's able to win this game. Nothing against TCU. I love you guys. You guys are awesome, but I really want to see Colorado win this game just for Deion Sanders. It'll probably be the biggest story of the week if Deion Sanders is able to go into Fort Worth, Texas, into Amanji Carter Stadium and beat TCU, who went to the national title game last season. But this TCU team is going to be good. I have a lot of questions and a lot of uncertainty about Colorado, even though they added a bunch of transfers who are extremely talented, including my main man Travis Hunter. As you can see right above in this picture here in the slide. I still have some uncertainty, and I still think that Colorado will struggle to a degree in Deion Sanders' first year as head coach. So this game could be a problem for Colorado. I mean it is already a problem. I mean, you're playing the team that made it to the national championship game last year. But when I mean a problem like this game could get out of hand possibly, but I hope not. And honestly, I don't see it happening, but there's a reason why TCU was favored by 20.5 points in this game. Personally, I think Colorado should be receiving some votes for the AP Top 25 poll or for the preseason poll, which I don't think they got a vote, which is kind of bad. But I understand it because they've been bad for a long time. But I don't agree with that at all. So this game will be played at noon on Fox on Saturday. I don't need to spend too much time on this game. You already know what's gonna happen, or not what's gonna happen. But you already know what to pay attention to in this game. I just hope that Colorado is competitive, and I hope they're able to win this game. In TCU, I hope that they can, to get Deion Sanders' first win. This is a game that obviously everybody's talking about, and I do not blame people for talking about this game. This game is definitely much-watched television, so You know, this game ranks number 3 on my list. I still kind of think I'm overrating this game a little bit because this game could be a blowout, but I can't help myself. This game is definitely deserving, just for the storylines and for the hype. This game definitely deserves a top 5 ranking on my list. Alright, coming in at number 2 is the game between the unranked Florida Gators going on the road to play the number 14th ranked Utah Utes. Remember at number 10 when I mentioned that there's another Thursday night game that I would rather watch than Nebraska and Minnesota? This is that game. This game will be played on Thursday night at 8 o'clock on ESPN in Rice-Eccles Stadium. Utah's favored by 6.5 points. Obviously, last year's contest between these two teams was an absolute classic. You know, obviously, you know, Florida won the game. You know, Rice. I said Rice because that's the name of Utah Stadium. But Utah, you know, they were in a tight contest with Florida, and they were driving down the field until you know, Cameron Rising threw an interception. I think it was some guy named Amani Burney who made the pick. I forgot his name because it was a while ago. But anyway, yeah. But that game that was sick. You know, I really enjoyed watching that game, and I think this is the game to watch on Thursday night. Forget about everything else. It's this game and nothing else. Unless if you're a Minnesota and Nebraska fan. If you're a neutral college football fan like I am, this is pretty much this is the game to watch on Thursday night. This is the perfect game to kick off the first full week of the college football season. It's going to be a really exciting game. I cannot wait to hear the crowd at Utah. Utah absolutely. Yo, the Utah fans, that stadium, it is freaking crazy. They go absolutely nuts for the Utes. And obviously Utah, you know, they're trying to get back to a position where they could win their 3rd straight Pac-12 title game or Pac-12 championship before the conference dissolves. You know, so you know, they have a lot to prove. You know, they're trying to win a 3rd straight conference title. But then you have the Florida Gators. Florida, you know, they had a disappointing season last year by Florida standards. But you know, they're expected to get better next season. I mean, not next season, this season. I'm sorry. I sort of like just, I don't know what it is. I sort of like, I talk and then I just like daydream while I'm talking, so that I misspeak sometimes by accident. But you know, they're expected, you know, to get better this season. And I expect that as well. You know, Florida, you know, they have a lot of good talent on their roster that can match up well with Utah. I really think that Utah's gonna win this game this year. But you know, I really think that Florida's gonna cover the spread. You know, by the way I'm looking at it, I think Florida can cover the spread and lose by like a field goal or something, or win by a field goal. It's gonna be probably the most exciting game of the week. It doesn't rank at number 1 because there's one obvious clear-cut winner that deserves to be ranked first on my list, and you guys should know what game that is if you saw the schedule already. But yeah, this game's gonna be sick. I'm definitely gonna be tuning into this contest. This is the perfect way to kick off week 1 in the college football season. So Florida and Utah ranks number 2 on my list, and let's get to number 1. Alright, number 1. This game should be no surprise if anybody took a deep look at the week 1 schedule. Number 1, my number 1 game on my list is between number 5 LSU and number 8 Florida State. Obviously, this is another great rematch that we're gonna have this season. Like I mentioned with Florida and Utah, this year's game is gonna be a rematch. Same thing with these two teams. Obviously, Florida State won last year's contest. I forgot. It was like a Monday night game, I think that was. This is a Sunday night. Obviously, everybody remembers what happened last year. You know, LSU came within 1 point. You know, and they got the extra point blocked the last second of the game, or the last play of the game, to lose 24-23 to Florida State. Now this game's going to be played in the Camping World Kickoff Classic, or whatever the hell it's called, and Camping World Stadium, which is in Orlando, I believe. So Florida State will have the home field advantage, I guess, because I'm sure there will be tons of Florida State fans that will travel to go to the game against LSU. This game will take place on Sunday, September 3rd at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. LSU's favored by 2.5 points, but if you're asking me, I think Florida State should be the favorite. But obviously, the SEC teams, they always get the benefit of the doubt, because why the fuck not? But but anyway, I'm just joking. I'm just being a goof. I think LSU definitely deserves to be the favorite for sure, but it's gonna be one of those games, man. It's gonna be one of those games that, you know, even if you're not a fan, your heart's gonna be pumping fast. You're gonna be shaking out of pure, you know, excitement. You're gonna, you know, your eyes are gonna be glued to the TV. I know I am. There's gonna be tons of twists and turns in this game. I really expect Florida State to become the ACC champion this season and possibly get back into the college football playoff during the last year of the 14 format. So you know, obviously next year it's going to expand. I believe the playoff is going to expand to 8 or 12 teams. I forgot. I got to double check, but yeah. But you know, obviously this game, both teams, you know, the thing about this game for me is that both teams have absolute studs on defense. You take a look, Harold Perkins, who's probably considered to be the best linebacker in all of college football for LSU. And then you have defensive end and pass rushing extraordinaire Jared Verse from Florida State. I think this game is going to be somewhat of a low-scoring contest. Expect this game to be, you know, like something around the lines of, you know, 17-14 or 20-17. Because, my God, both these defenses are freaking amazing. You know, there's just going to be tons of defensive highlights. Expect several turnovers to be committed in this game. That's how strong both these defenses are. But I think that Florida State will win this game because I think they have a better offense than LSU. You know, when you got Jordan Travis leading your offense at quarterback, you got a good chance. And I think he could be a potential Heisman Trophy candidate this season. So I got Florida State winning this game. I would say Florida State covers the spread. It will be a field goal difference in my opinion. This game will go down to the wire like it did last season. And in my humble opinion and my prediction will be that this game will come down on a last-second field goal. So this game definitely is a must-watch for everybody, whether you're a fan of these two teams or not. I'm not a fan of any of these teams, but I know for sure that I'll be sitting on my couch, or not on my couch, but on my chair in my bedroom with my eyes glued to the TV for this game. So number one, LSU, Florida State, go watch it. And if you don't, I don't know what the hell you're doing with yourself. If you're, like, seriously, if you're a college football fan, and if you don't tune into this game, if you're available to watch this game, I don't know what the hell you're doing, man. You're missing an absolute treat. But anyway, that's going to end this countdown. Let me know what you guys think of my countdown down in the comment section below. If you want to leave a positive comment, I'll take it. But if you want to say that I'm an absolute idiot that doesn't know anything about football, then you could do that too. I really don't care. I'm not trying to act better than any of you guys. You guys, I'm humble, as I'm a really humble person. Obviously, none of you guys really know who I am closely, but I'm a humble guy, and I don't think I'm better than anybody. My opinions are my opinions, and I try to say them as humble as I possibly can. I don't claim to be a know-it-all. I don't claim to be anything. I'm just a college student doing these YouTube videos for fun, but also to help put myself out there and help get used to hearing my voice on the mic, and at times seeing myself in front of the camera. So I'm trying to branch out, trying to do something with my life, and this is obviously the best thing that I could do with my life as of now, besides going to school. So I hope you guys enjoyed these videos. Like I said, I think I have like over 30 subs already, which is insane for me since I started this YouTube channel like 5 weeks ago. I would have never imagined that I would have reached 30 subs 5 weeks into this channel's existence. But it's happened, and I'm really happy with the turnout that's happening, and I hope you guys keep enjoying the videos. Obviously, I don't know everything, and there's going to be times where I don't provide as much analysis as I should, but that's because I'm on a strict time crunch due to school, and also because I don't know everything. But doesn't matter. I'm obviously going to be watching everything that's going on this season. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So if you guys liked the video, please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.